Well, you know we love to show you the cute and cuddly creatures from the Wildlife World Zoo and Aquarium, but today our guest is a little less cuddly and a little more scaly, I think. Joining me is Josh Jarnigan. He is the education curator at the Wildlife World Zoo and Aquarium. We always love it when you come and join us here because it's always an adventure.
Yes.
Welcome back, by the way. And his name, right?
His name is Flintstone.
Flintstone. And what is Flintstone?
Well, Flintstone is a blue-tongued skink. Now, skinks are a widespread lizard. You can find them around the world. They're actually the most populous species of lizard. There are about 1,200 different types of skinks around the world, but a lot of really cool adaptations that they have. And the blue-tongued skink gets their name from that bright blue-colored tongue that he's showing off. Now, similar to a snake, he uses that tongue to actually help him smell. So they use that to pick up molecules in the air, pull it back into their mouth, and it touches a special place on the top of their mouth that then helps them to figure out what's going on around them.
Is that because they don't have very good eyesight?
They don't have the best of eyesight, so very similar to a snake. And that's one thing a lot of people tend to be a little more skittish around these guys because they do resemble a snake with their long, smooth body and that tongue. So very similar to a snake. They don't have the best eyesight, but they have an excellent sense of smell to help them find everything.
Yeah, if I saw this out in the wild, I think I'd scream like a girl.
And thankfully they're not.
I am.
Yeah, they're not dangerous, and they're actually fairly docile, fairly mellow for the most part. So it's a really incredible animal, just because of how even-tempered they tend to be. I mean, he's showing it off right now.
Yeah, I know. You did this because you brought Flintstone because you were beat up and wore out from winter.
Yes, I had to bring a low-key animal this week just to kind of bring it down a little bit.
Now, this isn't the type of lizard. I know it's a skink, but is it something that somebody would have as a pet?
They can. They're not the most popular, but you can find skinks in the pet trade. Really? Typically, most people tend to go with more of your geckos or more of your bearded dragons. And bearded dragons are actually fairly closely related and very similar in temper and manner to the skinks. So again, they're another very popular pet that you'll find in the pet trade.
That tongue is amazing.
It's incredible.
How long do you think it is?
You know, that's a good question. I would say it's probably a couple of inches. I mean, it can extend from inside of the mouth, and not only do they use it to smell, but they also use it for defense. So in the wild, there are a lot of animals that are bigger and scarier than him. So they might try to eat him, and what he'll do is actually snap his mouth open, and the inside of his mouth is a bright pink color. So it's quite the contrast to that bright blue tongue, and then he'll flail that tongue around in the air, and it scares away a lot of animals because they don't know exactly what he's doing or what that tongue is for.
Right, exactly. How do you think you can get him to bring his tongue out?
Let's see if he'll
pay
attention.
It's like one of those that shoots way out, and you're like, whoa, where does he keep all of that? Rolled up inside his little head, right? And now, when you go to the Wildlife World Zoo and Aquarium, is this something that people will be able to touch and feel, or is he more on exhibit?
You're not going to be able to touch and feel him, but you will be able to see him up close. We do have a couple of skinks, different types of skinks on exhibit in our reptile building, but he is a part of our education collection. So you might come, if you come to one of our wildlife encounter shows, you might actually get to see him up close and personal.
That's awesome. Well, I tell you what, I've had a chance to spend some time with Josh, and all of us here at Sonora Living Live are doing a lot of work with you guys together and getting up close and personal with animals. We're going to share that with you throughout the rest of the month. So here's their contact information: Wildlife World Zoo and Aquarium. It's at the corner of the Loop 303 in Northern. By the way, there's a lot of construction going on around Northern, or on the 303, so take Northern. It's in Litchfield. 623-935-WILD. That's 9453. You can also visit their website, wildworld.com. They're open every single day of the year at 9 a.m. Thanks so much, Josh.